Le funérailles de Dave. Il me dit, check-moi bien tout confortable dans mon cercueil. Temps de faire petit dodo. Finalement un peu de silence. Finalement on me fiche la paix. La funéraille de Dave. great damage is this? Standard view of the aestheticized city block. Purplish hues and red trim like stock in unimaginative video games. Young Dan on the move. Sidewalk merchant advances and launches into a hustle. Paint fume headache. I have a yen for you. holding a silver coin. Says the urchin, but first no thanks, says Dan. What use have I for foreign currency? Perhaps if I, waving ominous hand before young Dan's streetlight-bathed face, made you into music. Young Dan is now a 3.5-inch plastic disc and is loaded into the urchin's MPC-60. Young Dan emanates as vibration, carries a charged but ultimately calm bit of melody with a hinted pulse. Says young Dan, this is more like it. Being amongst the sampling machine circuitry patterns is more enticing than the actual street. Long silver lines hum when charged. Yes, this is more like it, says young Dan, and leans into his current form.
The giant reflective geometric solids continued to pop into existence in great numbers, and their forms became more various. There were tori, solid crosses, and even something that looked like a Mobius strip. All the geometric solids drifted away from the location of the accelerator. About half an hour later, the solids filled more than half the sky, as though a giant child had emptied a box of building blocks in the firmament. The light reflected from the mirror surfaces doubled the brilliance of the light hitting the ground, but the intensity continuously shifted. The shadow of the giant pendulum flickered in and out and swayed from side to side. Then, all the geometric solids began to deform. They gradually lost their regular shapes, as though they were melting in heat. The deformation accelerated, and the resulting humps became more and more complex. Now the objects in the sky no longer reminded people of building blocks, but of a giant's dismembered limbs and disemboweled viscera. Because their shapes were no longer so regular, the light they reflected to the ground became softer, but their own surface coloration turned even more strange and unpredictable. Out of the mess of three-dimensional objects, a few in particular drew special attention from observers on the ground. At first, it was only because the objects in question were very similar to each other. But upon closer examination, people recognized them, and a wave of terror swept Trisolaris. They were all eyes. Of course, we don't know what Trisolaran eyes look like, but we can be certain that any intelligent life would be very sensitive to representation of eyes.
He sinks back into his chair and looks upwards the room window. Azure daylight is notifying slightly through the blinds. It's quiet, oddly quiet for downtown. Quiet like the night, thinks Clevo. Suddenly he's drawn out of himself and faces outwards into the street. The crew and their dying night morning energies foreshorten cartoonishly behind. Clevo hears light. He stretches further and further and further out, now singing purely in a voice of discordant light and rumble. He's become the city. He suddenly sees it all from a vantage impossible. Building of eyes blinks its last. Wayne Sans Souci awoke surprised. Stiz staring at his reflection in the window while globes of streetlight pass by. Boyish girls in fly kicks with hair running out of raised hoodies. Old men in front smoking. Clevo can suddenly communicate with the buildings. He twitches his eyelids and a whole series of skyscraper floors blink on and off. He breathes and suddenly a great ventilation system exhalation citywide through all the nodes and turning small trash tornadoes through broad intersections heaves across the whole concrete landscape. He thinks and directs thought somewhere, not sure where. An electronic field receptive somewhere directed. It's their clarity I'm showing you. When the woman with the salad challenges him, I've seen many gods come and go. A singular yield. Barnes, a what? Rainer, a singular yield. Flow motor fundi, of death comes winding through the fields. Barnes, hell of a way to describe the vocals. Oh, I got bad.